Visual, dimly lit room. A small desk with a flickering desk lamp. A 22-year-old version of you sits hunched over a cheap laptop. It's midnight. You look exhausted. Empty coffee mugs, a notepad filled with scribbles, and unpaid bills are scattered on the table. A storm rages outside. The screen shows your bank balance. 47, Satan 23. Voiceover, calm but heavy. This was rock bottom. I was 22 years old, sitting in a cramped apartment I could barely afford, wondering how the hell I got here. Visual, close-up of your face, eyes tired, full of frustration. You rub your temples. Notifications on your phone pop up. Overdue rent, loan reminders, low balance warning. Voiceover. I had no savings, no backup plan, no safety net. Just a mountain of regret and a voice in my head that kept saying, "Is this it?" Visual, flashback clips, you dropping out of a class, being rejected at a job interview, arguing on a phone call, looking hopeless, on public transport. Voiceover. I had tried a lot of things, freelancing, odd jobs, a startup that failed before it even launched. Everyone around me seemed to be figuring life out while I was stuck on the loading screen. Visual. You open a motivational video on YouTube. A speaker says, "No one is coming to save you, it's on you." Voiceover, slowly shifting tone. And that hit me. No one was coming. Not my friends. Not my family. No magic opportunity. Just me. And a decision. Visual. You close all tabs on your computer, open a fresh document, and write the words. Game plan. How I'll make my first million. Voiceover. That night I stopped waiting. I started planning. Not dreaming. Planning. I told myself, give it 5 years, go all in. No excuses. Visual. You writing goals on sticky notes. Learn high-income skills, build multiple income streams, invest. Early read 2 books a month, wake up at 5 a.m. Voiceover. That was the moment everything started to change. I didn't have money, but I had time, and I decided to treat every minute like it was worth gold. Visual. You staring out the window as rain hits the glass, but now there's a quiet fire in your eyes. Voiceover, inspired tone. That night didn't make me a millionaire, but it made me unstoppable. And if you're in your 20s, broke, confused, or lost, I get it. I've been there. Cut to black screen with text. Lesson number 1. Your rock bottom can be your launch pad, if you let it. Visual, early morning. Alarm goes off at 5:30 a.m. You wake up groggily, but with purpose. You grab a journal and write, today's focus, growth. Voiceover, reflective tone. When I look back, the most profitable investment I ever made wasn't in stocks, crypto, or real estate. It was me. Visual. You sitting at a desk with headphones on, watching a business course on your laptop. Notes scattered everywhere. A whiteboard filled with goals behind you. Voiceover. I used to think success came from getting lucky, that one day someone would discover me or hand me an opportunity. But here's the truth. The world pays you based on the value you bring, and value comes from skill. Visual. Fast cuts. Reading books, practicing sales calls, learning graphic design, watching tutorials, attending a virtual workshop. Voiceover. Determined. So I stopped scrolling and started studying. I turned Netflix into Skillshare, Instagram into LinkedIn, and my weekends, they became classrooms. Visual. You practicing a pitch in front of a mirror, then failing, then trying again. You look more confident each time. Voiceover. I wasn't the smartest guy in the room, not the most connected, but I became obsessed with learning. Books, courses, mentors, YouTube tutorials. I absorbed everything I could. I stopped saying I can't and started saying, "I'll figure it out." Visual. You reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, watching videos by successful entrepreneurs, and highlighting quotes like, "Don't work for money. Learn how to make money work for you." Voiceover. Every hour I invested into my brain, my mindset, my skills, paid off 10x later. Not right away, but when the moment came, I was ready. Visual, side-by-side comparison. One version of you aimlessly scrolling your phone, the other version building a website, working on a side hustle. Voiceover, inspiring tone. In your 20s, your biggest asset isn't money, it's your ability to grow. So spend less on flexing and more on learning. Upgrade yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Cut to black screen with text. Lesson number 1. Invest in yourself before you expect anyone else to invest in you. Voiceover, final line. This was the foundation of my million. Not luck, not timing, self-investment. That's where real wealth begins. Voiceover, final line. The million didn't start with money. It started with a mindset shift. And that changed everything. Visual. Evening. A phone buzzes with a message. "Bro, party tonight. You coming?" Friends are laughing in a group photo. You look at the message, then at your laptop screen with a half-finished project. You hesitate. Voiceover. Calm, reflective. This is one of the hardest lessons I learned in my 20s, and one of the most valuable. You have to learn to say no. Visual. You put the phone down. Take a deep breath, open your laptop, and start typing. Background music is soft, but serious. Voiceover. Not because you're antisocial, not because you don't love your friends, but because saying yes to everything means saying no to your future. Visual. Quick montage. You decline a night out to finish a side hustle project. You skip weekend Netflix to study. You wake up early while everyone else sleeps in. Voiceover. Firm. Discipline isn't about being perfect, it's about priorities. Every yes you say to temporary fun might be a note to long-term success. Visual. You working late at night while friends are posting party selfies. You smile. Not because you're missing out, but because you're locked in. Voiceover. There were times I felt like the odd one out, like I was missing life. But I reminded myself, I wasn't saying no to fun. I was saying yes to freedom. Visual. Calendar showing your schedule filled with personal goals. Launch website. Learn Facebook ads. Apply for freelance gigs. You wake up at 5:30 a.m. Voiceover. Every successful person you admire made sacrifices early. They missed parties, skipped trends, and gave up short-term pleasure for long-term gain. Visual. You walking alone in the early morning, headphones in, listening to a podcast. You look focused, determined. Voiceover. Encouraging. If you're in your 20s, your time is your most valuable currency. Spend it wisely. The no's you say now will shape the yeses you get later. Cut to black screen with text. Lesson number 5. You don't need to do what everyone else is doing to get what everyone else doesn't have. Voiceover. Final line. Saying no isn't selfish, it's strategic. It's not rejection, it's redirection to something greater. Visual. Split screen. On one side, you're at your 9-to-5 job looking tired. On the other, you're working on your laptop at night, focused and motivated. Voiceover. Motivational tone. If there's one rule every millionaire lives by, it's this. Never rely on one source of income. I learned this the hard way. Visual. You checking your bank account. After a job delay. Stressed. Then, another clip. Your freelance income notification pops up. Relief. Voiceover. At first, I had just one income, my job. It paid the bills, barely. But what if I got laid off? What if the company closed? I realized 1 stream means 1 point of failure. Visual. You learning a new skill online, freelancing, starting a small e-commerce store, and investing in stocks. Voiceover. I started freelancing on weekends, selling digital products. I learned about passive income, affiliate marketing, dividends, online courses. Slowly, I turned skills into cash flow. Visual. Multiple notifications, payment received, store order, placed investment gained. Voiceover. 1 stream gave me survival. 3 gave me freedom. And that's when things started to scale. Cut to black screen with text. Lesson number 9. 1 income can pay your rent, but multiple incomes can build your empire. Voiceover. Final line. Don't wait to start big. Start small, but start now. Visual. Early morning. Sunlight peeks through the window. You sit at your desk, sipping coffee. Calm, focused, you open your laptop and log into your account. Sound. The soft ding of a notification. Visual. Screen flashes. Account balance. I was on to 3547, note and 18, voiceover. Calm, emotional tone. Stared at the screen for a moment. Not in shock, not in disbelief, but in quiet gratitude, because I knew what it took to get here. Visual. Flashback montage. Late nights working, saying no to distractions. Learning, failing, starting again. Days. When you almost gave up. Voiceover. This wasn't luck. This wasn't overnight. This was thousands of small decisions. Quiet sacrifices. Relentless consistency. Visual. You close the laptop. Take a deep breath. Smile slightly. You look at a sticky note on the wall. Make your future self proud. Voiceover. I didn't feel like I made it. I felt like I was just getting started. Because real success isn't about the money. It's about who you become in the process. Cut to black screen with text. Lesson 13. Wealth is built quietly. In moments no one sees. Voiceover. Final line. If you're in your 20s, your time is now. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Start today, because 5 years from now, you'll thank yourself.